Good morning. It's actually the afternoon, but today is the first day in months. I have had a free day, so today Dominic and I are taking the time to clean up our garden. Our garden is completely overrun with weeds and wildflowers, and it just looks like a mess. I know that it always goes down to kind of the bottom priority because it doesn't really have to look nice, but I think that it would be really lovely if we had a nice looking garden we could go out to. So today is beautifying the garden day. Okay, so we've started.
Step one was whippersnipping, which we just did, and that's made a huge difference already.
Yeah, and I'm weeding. I'm on weed patrol, and there are a lot of weeds. I think next year I'm thinking about doing the landscaping cloth because I'm not very good at keeping up with the weeding.
I'm surprised because I mulched in the onions, but a lot of weeds still came up. I guess my mulch just wasn't thick enough. In between the rows is not too bad. I had wood chip down, so that works better than the hay or the straw for weeds, obviously. Our overall plan is weed and whippersnip first. So I'm done my whippersnipping, or trimming, probably is the correct term. And Jenny's weeding. So now step two, we've been saving up our paper bags from the grocery store. So I'm gonna be laying those out anywhere grass is growing. And I'm gonna wet them down. And then it's gonna be hill and potatoes as well. And then chipping up some wood to fill in everywhere that we don't have a bed. So if we do all that today, I think we can have every square inch of inside of this garden covered with something, hopefully wood chips, so it looks nice, and we'll be able to bring people out to the garden and not be embarrassed.
Yeah, so that's the plan. We're gonna be very busy though. Let's go. Pretty warm outside. There's a few casualties for the onions, so we'll eat those in the next few days. So I've pretty much got the onion bed weeded as much as I'm going to do today. Looks a lot better. It was in dire need of a good weed. And Dominic has been mulching the entire time I've been doing that, so he's got a lot of wood chips that we're ready to kind of disperse around the garden.
Oh, actually,
What?
we should hill first.
Hill the potatoes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, right?
Okay, we are tackling this giant pile of dirt and compost in the middle of the garden here. We've hilled one of our potato beds. We actually hilled all of the other ones another time, but these ones hadn't grown as much, so we didn't hill this one, so we hilled it today. And now we're using the rest of the matter in this giant pile of dirt to make another garden bed, or maybe two.
So, around the edges where we just have these big empty spaces, we don't have enough wood chips. We're saving the wood chips for the valuable places in around the beds. So I'm using this hay, actually, it's not straw. And I'm thinking a lot of people are gonna say, hey, you shouldn't use hay, there's a lot of seeds in it. And there's something I did to try to mitigate that a little bit, was that as I'm moving the sheep around, I would lay out hay in really bare areas or areas that were rocky and let the sheep eat over those places. So that would knock off a lot of the seed as it is, and it's been sitting there for a couple of weeks in those places now. So it's stopping the evaporation from drying out the ground there and hopefully knocking off lots of seeds. So that now when I'm going around collecting it all, we're going to have lots of seed left in moist ground that those seeds will hopefully grow in, and they've been fertilized by the sheep and stuff obviously as well. So hopefully we're not going to get too much seed going in here, but we are going to leave a lot, and along with sheep manure in the places that are kind of bare, like for example where we had the trampoline last year or down the hill from the apple tree. And then we'll just bring it in here and we're going to spread it out and wet it down to just cover in the big areas where I'd need to be wood chipping for 2 months, I need to cut down another 500 trees to do it all probably. So hopefully this is going to be a good solution for that. Because we got other grow batteries ready, you know?
We did not have enough mulch to do the entire garden, but I think at least the bottom half looks pretty good. What do you think? Come here, bud.
Can I have some more Cheerios?
So it's, I don't know what time it is.
About 4:30.
Oh, okay, so we're at about 5 hours. We got a lot done. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough mulch to do everything. I chipped up the trees I had there, and we prioritized chips around the new beds we made. So they're looking real tidy right now. And around the edges, like you saw, we're doing hay. So I went around and got all the hay I could. There's some more I got going now, but it hasn't been there long enough to knock the seeds off of. So I'll go get some more of that. And as I chop more trees down over the summer, as I'm clearing land in front of the pigs, we'll get lots more trees to chop so we can do the wood chip in more areas than we have it right now. But I would say it's a 500% improvement.
Yeah, it looks
I wouldn't be
good.
embarrassed to bring someone in here now.
I'm going to take you guys around on the chores today, and we've got to get moving. The grass has been growing so much better lately. It's been warmer, we've been getting rain, we've been getting sun, so it's been really good. Dominic still moves the sheep every couple of days. He lets them graze where they are, don't graze it too much, and then he moves them on to the next place. And he has like about every day in here. Every day. In this area, in like the pasture area, they move every single day. In our yard, where it's a little bit more established, they stay for a few days at a time, but here it's still growing, so it's every day if they're back here. He has a very intricate system of rotating between the yard and the pasture to make sure that they're not anywhere too long and they're not repeating anywhere too soon in between, to keep that parasite load down and allow everything to regrow. So he's moving them out to this area today. Have they been out here before? So they have been here before.
Cheep, 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 cheep. Cheep, 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 cheep. Come on.
Come on, not your chairs.
I'll come back later and talk to you about it.
Good morning. So it has been a few days and we have been enjoying the view of our much neater garden here, But I wanted to come around and show you some of the plants and how they're growing. And I think that we're going to plant a few more things today, so we're going to get into that in a few minutes. So first, let's have a look around. First thing is the onions. We've got 3 types of onions. We have white, red, and yellow. I'm not sure if there's anything more specific in that, but that's how they were labeled when we bought them. And they're growing pretty well. Some of them are starting to get pretty big, so I think that like maybe next month we can harvest those. But the onions are doing super well. We're already harvesting some of the new onions and eating those throughout the week. The next thing, right next to the onions, we have the garlics, and we harvested the garlic scapes this week, and I made a garlic scape pesto with that. We don't have a whole bunch of garlic, so it was just one batch of pesto, but it's been really good. And the garlic has been growing pretty well. I think they're still a little bit small. They will get harvested in August here, and I don't think they're going to get much bigger than what they are now, and that's totally fine. But so far they've been doing great. Next we'll have a look at our potatoes. The potatoes have been doing great, I think. They're starting to flower. I assume that's fine. If it's not, please let me know down in the comments. But we hilled them once and they're looking pretty good. We could probably hill them again. It's lots of different advice on whether to hill them or not. Maybe we should just hill like part of them. But again, we have got, I think like just like red, yellow, and white potatoes. I think it's like Yukon Gold, white potatoes and red potatoes. Not really sure what the exact type are, but I think that's them. But they have been, as far as I know, doing well. That kind of brings me to like our kind of sadder section of our garden. I don't know what it is about this top corner. It seems like stuff doesn't grow great here. Thinking maybe next year we'll try raised beds in this area instead of planting directly in the ground. It's not doing great, so I'm gonna try some new stuff today and I'm gonna plant in these beds here, and I think that they're gonna do really well. Hopefully, but we'll see. All right, so I've got another one of these seed tapes. I had this for the other lettuce, and I think they're too jammed together, so maybe once they start like growing, I'll thin them out. But it germinated pretty well, so that was pretty good. This is romaine lettuce, red salad bowl lettuce, Swiss chard, and arugula. These are the 4 that I'm going to be planting today, and we'll see what happens. I think it's like, it is cooling down and the nights are very cool, so I think it's going to be fine. And it should start raining a bit more now that like we're getting into August, September. We do get a lot more rain, so I think they're going to be good. We'll see. So hopefully in about 45 days we will have some lettuce that we can start harvesting from this garden. So that'll be about the end of August, beginning of September. Hopefully it all goes well, and maybe our other lettuce will kind of pick up now that it's cooling down as well. Couple of thoughts on planting your garden with kids and having kids involved. It's definitely harder. The kids really like putting the seeds in, and I think that it's a really good learning experience. Their little hands are not as, I mean, I'm not very good at it to begin with, but for them, they're just like sprinkling them in everywhere, and they do really like it though, so I know that I'll have to thin this out, and that's okay. I'm really glad that they did help, even though I initially wanted to say no, but you know, having them come in and put the seeds in, help water, and see it all grow, I think is really important, even if it's maybe detrimental to your garden as a whole. To your children, I guess it's a good learning experience for them. Is it an elevator?
Yeah.
See you later. Where are you going? Up or down?
Right here.
You're here. Where are you?
At home.
Oh, very good.
What are those?
Those are potatoes.
What are those?
Potatoes.
What are that?
They're all potatoes.
What is that?
What do you think they are?
Potato?
That's right. Obviously, no garden update tour is going to be complete without having a look inside the cattle panel greenhouse. So we're going to go and have a look and see how our tomatoes, peppers, cilantro, basil, and all that good stuff is going. So you guys are going to come on in. All right, so as you can see just from the door, we have got a lot more mass in here. There's a lot of plants growing. Let me show you. First things first, I want to direct you to the floor in the middle of the greenhouse where a rogue tomato plant has sprung up. Now, I actually didn't bring any seeds in here at all. I started everything in the house or bought started plants at a greenhouse. So this guy, we suspect that it was a seed from a tomato that was in the compost, and it's so funny because, you know, you start your seeds in the house and you're really careful with them and you're coming out here and you're making sure that the temperature's okay and they have enough water, and then this guy is just like, I'm just gonna grow right here. You know, it's like very hardy plant. So I'm very excited to see if he actually grows and if he produces any tomatoes here this year. So we'll keep an eye on this guy. But let's have a look at everything else. So some of these plants have gotten pretty tall. This is one that was started in a greenhouse. The bigger ones are the ones that are started in the greenhouse, but the ones that I started from seed are doing really well as well. And we even have quite a few plants, the ones that were started in the greenhouse, have started growing little green tomatoes, which is awesome. I'm so excited to eat them. We have got some like sweet millions. There's like a heart-shaped tomato that started to grow, and the ones that I have planted myself are Scotia, Roma, and I think more cherry tomatoes. So everything is doing really, really well. I water it every day. I think I fill this up, I think maybe like between 7 to 10 times in the run of a day. When I water it once. Every once in a while I might skip a day, but mostly it's, you know, you don't want to overwater them, but you don't want to underwater them. They're turning up a little bit because I didn't water them yesterday, so they do need to get a nice good water today. But I try to give them lots of water and keep it pretty consistent. But so far, it's been so good. And the basil has been doing really, really well. Somebody suggested that I plant the basil underneath the tomato plants. And I tried to grow basil last year and none of it worked. And I grew it outside, but I think that it really likes the heat. And it must really like the tomatoes because it has been doing really, really well. And we've even started eating some of the basil, which is great. So the cilantro as well has been doing awesome. I've actually harvested it a few times and it just keeps coming back. I have some growing in the greenhouse and some growing outside actually, and both of them are doing really, really well. So I'm super happy because I love cilantro. Our peppers have been very strange. Now I've got some banana peppers started and some peppers that have started to grow, but it feels like the peppers, they like get flowers and then sometimes they grow really well and then they'll have a spout where they're not growing very well at all. And I'm wondering if it's too warm in here for them or what is really happening. Maybe they're more for cold weather because I mean they're getting enough water, they're getting enough sunlight. I'm thinking that it might be that it's just too warm in here, which is weird because I thought they needed it warm, but I'm not really sure what's going on with the peppers. They're not doing as well as the tomatoes, but maybe when it cools down, they'll do a little bit better. But the cilantro is doing really well. The dill is doing pretty good. We had more herbs in here, but the chickens got in and made dust bats on all of my herbs, frustratingly, so I have planted a few more. We'll see if I get anything out of them by the fall, and I probably will. But the tomatoes are doing really well, and I'm super happy with the greenhouse. I love coming in here, and I've got to get this watered. You'll probably also notice that I have tied the tomatoes to the cattle panel, and I have it on very good authority that this is a terrible idea, Nate and Kevin, and I think that I just want to watch the world burn. That's a problem for future Jenny. When these tomato plants get really, really heavy, we're going to see whether or not the cattle panel greenhouse will collapse under the weight. And that is just the experiment that we're running. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens.
Alright, so fairly productive week given our time constraint with Jenny in class doing her 2 condensed courses now. So the end of that is on the horizon.
Yes.
It's Tuesday or Wednesday?
Well, it depends on when I get it finished.
Yeah.
Whenever I get it finished. Yeah, I'm doing a couple like 12-week courses in 6 days. So it's just been really, really busy, and unfortunately videos have been kind of slacking off. But once it's finished, we're hoping that we're going to go full throttle on the videos, and you guys can hopefully enjoy lots of content from us. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get the tractor out and do some tractory things and have lots of fun pretty soon.
yeah, we'll be cutting down trees, we'll be moving animals, hopefully we'll have a lovely garden. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that's it. We'll see you hopefully on Wednesday. If not, we'll see you on Sunday. But have a great week. All right. Bye.
Ciao.